The shocking case of Joel Guy Jr., who murdered and dismembered his parents. Lisa and Joel Guy were murdered and dismembered by their son, Joel Guy Jr., on Thanksgiving weekend in 2016. A happy family. Asterisk warning, this story contains disturbing and graphic details. Joel Guy Jr., 28, and his sisters gathered with their parents Joel and Lisa Guy on Thanksgiving 2016. They met at their parents' two-story home located on a beautiful, perfectly manicured corner lot on Goldview Lane in Knoxville, Tennessee. Recently retired, Joel was a pipeline engineering designer and the couple had been married 31 years. Joel had 3 daughters by a previous marriage and Lisa and Joel Sr. gave birth to their son Joel Michael Guy Jr. in 1988. Lisa goes missing. It would be their last holiday together in their family home. Joel Sr. and Lisa had just sold their Knoxville home. Lisa was going to retire, and both were moving into Joel Sr.'s Lake Mother's Mountain home 90 miles away in Sir-Goinsville. The family all looked forward to a Christmas reunion there the next month. The Guys said goodbye to their daughters, who lived in Tennessee, and planned to say goodbye to their son Joel on Friday of that week before he headed home to Baton Rouge. He had lived there for a decade and was completely reliant on his parents' financial support. However, the Guys had mentioned to their daughters that they planned to cut off Joel Jr. financially after the Thanksgiving get-together. It is not clear if Joel and Lisa ever got the opportunity to tell their son they were no longer going to support him financially, but Lisa's co-workers became worried when she did not show up at work on Friday, November 25. Lisa worked at Jacobs Engineering in Oak Ridge, where she was a human resources account payable administrator. It was supposed to be Lisa's last day before she retired. After trying to reach Lisa by phone repeatedly with no answer, her co-workers called the police and requested a welfare check at the Guys' home. Grisly scene. Knox County officers Jeremy McCord and Stephen Ballard and several other officers responded to 11434 Golden View Lane to conduct a welfare check and found it seemingly empty. However, they thought it strange that the house was for sale but had no real estate lock on the front door. Looking inside from the front door, they could see groceries such as ice cream, sausage, and bacon sitting on the floor in the foyer. The police rounded the back of the home and noticed the doorknob had been removed and placed on the front door. They could also feel the heat emanating from the house, along with an odd chemical smell. An officer opened one of the Guys' cars in the driveway and pressed the garage door opener, giving them access to the house. When officers arrived, they found a stock pot boiling on the stove containing the decapitated head of Lisa Guy. The officers first inside the home discovered the thermostat was set at 90 degrees. They approached a table with both Joel and Lisa's wallets and a sledgehammer sitting on top, then another table with long guns sitting atop. They passed the groceries they had spotted from outside and, in the kitchen, found a stock pot boiling on the stove. Investigators would later discover the pot contained the decapitated head of Lisa Guy. Knox County Sheriff's deputies who discovered the crime scene had a physical reaction to the odor in the home. The officers proceeded to ascend the stairway where they heard a dog barking. They found the dog locked in a bedroom. Looking down the hallway, they could see blood-spattered walls and discovered Joel Sr.'s dismembered hands on the floor with large spots of blood on the rug. Officers discovered the dismembered corpses of Joel and Lisa Guy in an upstairs bathroom in 45-gallon blue containers. Horrified by what they were seeing, the officers continued to search. In the bathroom, they found both Joel and Lisa's dismembered corpses sitting inside plastic tubs in a homemade acidic solution. Lisa Guy's clothes and chemicals were found at the crime scene at the home of Joel and Lisa Guy in Knoxville, Tennessee, in November 2016. Lisa Guy's clothes and chemicals were found at the crime scene at the home of Joel and Lisa Guy in Knoxville, Tennessee, in November 2016. Investigators arrived on the second-floor crime scene and found Lisa's clothing, which had been cut off her body, along with sewer line cleaner, baking soda, liquid fire drain cleaner, lye, hydrogen peroxide, muriatic acid, bleach, and a bleach sprayer. Nearby sat a suitcase that had a note in it with the name of an Ace hardware store, and a notation about sewer line cleaner. The home was so hazardous that the investigators had to wear hazmat suits to process the crime scene. An officer at the scene described it as the most horrific thing he's ever encountered in law enforcement, in life. It's in the 1 percentile of homicides in the United States that involve mutilation or dismemberment. It's not something we run across, Major Michael McLean of the Knox County Sheriff's Office told the Washington Post. Usually there's a motivation behind it. In this case, we just don't know what that is. Police make quick arrest. The motive would soon become evident. With no shortage of physical evidence, the FBI and East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office placed Guy Jr. under surveillance after the crime scene was discovered. His motivation would quickly become apparent: it was money. Joel Jr. arrested. Joel Guy Jr. was arrested a day after the bodies were discovered and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, felony murder, and abuse of a corpse. Joel Michael Guy Jr. graduated from the Louisiana School for Math, Science, and the Arts in 2006. He had never been employed and was entirely supported by his parents. In fact, Lisa's friends said she tirelessly worked only to give her son most of her paycheck. Guy Jr. spent 1 semester at George Washington University, then attended Louisiana State University, supposedly training to become a plastic surgeon. He was living in Baton Rouge right up until the time of the murders. The FBI arrested Guy Jr. outside his East Baton Rouge Parish apartment Tuesday as he walked to his car in the complex parking lot. When interviewed by police, Guy Jr. told police he had been visiting his parents over the Thanksgiving holiday. He did not disclose a motive but did tell investigators he had talked to his parents about money. Graphic trial. Attorney Leslie Nashios spoke at Joel Jr.'s trial and released new graphic details of the murders. State prosecutors said due to its graphic nature, this was a crime scene unlike many others in the United States. They warned the victims' families and attendees to leave the courtroom if they felt like they would be overwhelmed emotionally. As Joel Guy Jr. sat in the courtroom blankly looking forward, Nashios began describing how Joel Guy Sr. died. According to Nashios, he suffered 42 sharp force injuries so brutal that 12 marks were left on his ribs that ranged from scratches to severing. Severe damage was caused to Guy Sr.'s lungs, kidneys, and liver. He also had an injury on his shoulder so severe that a fragment of the weapon was deposited in the muscle tissue. Then Guy Sr.'s hands were severed at the wrists, his arms severed at the shoulder, and legs removed at his hip. According to court records, his foot was severed at the ankle. Nashios said Guy Sr. had fiercely fought for his life. After the murder, his clothing was cut off his body and left in a bloody pile on the floor. Joel Guy Sr. and Lisa were married 31 years and were only weeks away from achieving their retirement dreams in November 2016. According to court transcripts, Lisa was stabbed 31 times, causing 21 severe injuries, stab wounds to the buttocks, and severed 9 of her ribs. Her clothing was cut off her body and left on the floor. Her arms were severed at the shoulder and her legs cut below the knees. Their bodies were placed in 2 45-gallon containers with a mixture of drain cleaner, bleach, hydrogen peroxide, sewer line cleaner, and other chemicals, trying to quickly dissolve their bodies in the homemade acid solution. Authorities believe the couple was killed sometime between Friday and midday Saturday. The crime scene was so unimaginable that state prosecutors would describe the discovery as a diabolical stew of human remains. Shocking notebook. Police found a notebook filled with Guy Jr.'s plans in his parents' Knoxville home. Shockingly, he wrote a list of things to do prior to the murders, along with noting items to bring with him, including a blender and a food processor. Guy Jr. listed items like a sledgehammer and killing knives that he needed to murder his parents, as well as a plan of where and when to kill them. He planned to use the sledgehammer to crush his parents' bones. Bring blender and food grinder, the note said. Grind meat. Flush chunks down the toilet. Get plastic bin for denature process. Investigators would later find receipts showing Guy Jr. bought the chemicals at a Walmart in Knoxville. When his car trunk was opened in Louisiana after the arrest, he had a meat grinder in the trunk. Guy Jr. carefully listed the methods he would use to kill his parents, then destroy evidence. In one note, he wrote "kill dog," but then crossed it out and replaced it with "take the dog with you." The note goes on to detail how he would begin the forensic manipulation process and dismemberment. Place her in shower. Turn on hot water and point it at her to get rid of forensics. Remove her clothes and take them with me for disposal. Cut off his arm and plant his flesh under her fingernails. Place her hand with his DNA so that his DNA is not washed away by shower. Place hair curler with flammable paper and flammable containers of gasoline in 4 locations: his killing room, her killing room, his bathroom, her bathroom. Guy Jr. sustained several cuts to his hands in the assault on his father, including a cut on his left thumb. After the murders, he is seen at Walmart's first aid section, getting ointment and bandages. He also purchased isopropyl alcohol and hydrogen peroxide. On Sunday, he drove back to Baton Rouge to be treated at a student clinic, with the intention of returning to Knoxville to finish his diabolical deeds. Guy Jr. had one motive: money. He listed his parents' assets in detail, and his notes provide some insight as to how he would achieve gaining his parents' property, to include life insurance, the Knoxville house, the Sir Gowensville home, car, SUV, boat, and an old truck. Her life insurance $500,000, possibly more with double indemnity. A motive as old as the sun, but what kind of monster would so callously and brutally murder his own parents? Trial and sentencing. Guy Jr.'s trial lasted 4 days and involved more than 700 pieces of evidence and 27 witnesses. He was sentenced to life in prison on October 2, 2020, by Judge Stephen Sword, who called this case the most extreme form of abuse of a corpse he has seen in his 25-year career. Guy Jr. was found guilty on all charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree felony murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. According to Knox County Judge Sword, the jury found him guilty unanimously on all 7 counts. The judge told Guy Jr. that he thinks he's smarter than he really is, saying that the crime was committed in a very unintelligent way. Judge Sword said Guy Jr. showed no remorse during the trial and even appeared proud of his actions. He also said Guy Jr. has a depraved mind that would not change over time. Guy Jr. will not be eligible for release for 130 years. However, during sentencing, Judge Sword said 300 years isn't enough time to reasonably relate to what Guy Jr. did. Remembering the victims. The family posted a combined obituary for their parents, describing them as both having a sense of humor and being loving and kind-hearted. They were married for 31 years and were described as soulmates.